Hi, I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk, one of the UK's leading specialists in Adobe Certified Training, and welcome to this video on using Adobe Bridge to edit or change your RAW files. As you know, there's loads of different RAW file formats from different manufacturers, and to open them means either software from the CD that came with your camera or Adobe Photoshop. But you can also use Adobe Bridge, even without opening Adobe Photoshop. Okay? You can do it all within Adobe Bridge, because Adobe Bridge also ships with Camera Raw, a free plugin that allows you to edit your RAW images. As you know, RAW is the best possible quality. So I've got a couple of images here, these 4 images, and I'm just not sure which one looks best and which one to choose, and maybe make some edits and apply them to all 4 images. So I'm going to select these 4 images. I've got these 4 images selected here inside Adobe Bridge. Now if I double click on them, if you double click on the RAW file in Adobe Bridge, this will open Camera Raw in Photoshop. If you want to open Camera Raw from Bridge, not from Photoshop, you can right click, or you can also go to File in the menu and then do Open with Photoshop, or Open in Camera Raw. That's what we want to do here. We want to open Camera Raw within Adobe Bridge, not inside Adobe Photoshop. Okay. Maybe you don't have Photoshop, maybe you have some other applications that ship with Camera Raw, with Adobe Bridge. So here I am inside Adobe Camera Raw. I'm using Camera Raw 6.3, and we've got 4 images here. These are the 4 images. Now they are a bit too dark. I'm going to deal with the first one first, then I'll apply the settings to the other images. So I've got the top image selected. On the right hand side, I'll use the basic tab. I'll start with the white balance. I'll look for the settings here. These are the settings that emulate the presets on your camera for white balance. You can see the same presets on your camera. So it says S-Shot, which means it uses the default from the RAW from the camera. I'm going to change to auto. A bit too warm in my opinion. I'll go to daylight. Not too bad. Daylight is 5,500 kelvins. S-Shot was 6,000, so it's a bit cooler. I think it looks okay. Looks really, really nice. If you want to make any subtle adjustments, you can do it here. I can still increase or decrease the temperature, make it warmer or cooler. I can also manage the tints. I think the daylight looks okay. I'll add a bit of exposure. I'm going to overexpose it just a bit to add more light to the image. Okay, this looks good. Recovery deals with the highlights in the image. So if I move the recovery slider, I'm getting more details in the highlights in the snow. This looks great. Fill light deals with shadows. I don't have any shadows here, so I'm going to leave it. And I'll move the black slider just a bit to add a bit more. Well, it looks like adding contrast, but what it's actually doing is it takes the darkest pixels in the image and makes them even darker, which looks like increasing contrast at the same time. Now I'll skip the brightness and contrast, and I'll go to clarity. Clarity adds more contrast, but in a very subtle way. It's much more subtle than using contrast slider. So I'm going to move the clarity slider. And then vibrance and saturation, I'm not going to use the saturation, I just want to do some subtle effect. So I'm going to use the vibrance slider. Vibrance is very subtle again. It's like a clarity. Saturation is more like a contrast. And I'll add some more colors. Look at the sky, what's happening with the sky. Now this is too far, but if I move it somewhere here, this looks okay. Now let's see the preview, before and after. That's before, that's after. Now I can quickly apply that to all the other images. I can go and select all, and then click on synchronize. This will synchronize. What I want to synchronize, I'm just going to synchronize the basic tab. Okay, anything from white balance to saturation. Now just press OK. Now Adobe Camera Raw is going to update all the other images with the same settings. So this is the second image, the third, and the fourth. Okay, so that's the 4th image after, and this is before. Now you have a couple of options. You can click Done, and this will just keep the information about the changes you've done in Camera Raw. You can also click on Open Image to open it in Photoshop. Or you can click on Save Image. If I click on that, this will prompt me to save an image somewhere on my hard drive with a certain file format. There's 3 file formats to choose from, 4 actually with DNG, and the quality and the format. In this situation, I'm just going to cancel that to get back to Adobe Bridge. And this message you see here, this is a very intelligent part, because you've made some changes. If you try to cancel, Camera will ask you if you're sure you want to cancel all the changes. Okay. And that's how you use Adobe Bridge and Adobe Camera Raw for editing raw images. Thank you for watching. I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk, one of the UK's leading specialists in Adobe Certified Training. For more details, go to sitetraining.co.uk for Adobe Certified Training, or for more tips, tricks and tutorials about Photoshop, Lightroom and Bridge, go to photoshoplightroombridge.co.uk.